It's Elite POV, coming live to your area on twitch.tv.
Let's fucking go!
We are your number one place for everything in the world of all elite wrestling. And just remember, when you're with us, you'll always be elite.
Yo, it's clear to see when you open up your feed that ain't nobody better than Elite POV. We bring the heat to your screen every week, cause ain't nobody better than Elite POV. So understand every time that we speak that ain't nobody better than Elite POV. Our 3 letters is all you'll ever need, cause ain't nobody better than Elite POV.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Elite POV, where I forget to unmute the mute button, as always. I'm your host of today's show. My name is Kyle Masters, joined by my 2 lovely co-hosts. We'll start one with Jackie Rodriguez.
That's for last, baby.
Oh my
10-star Jackie R. And no, your camera don't need to be adjusted. She's not brunette. I asked before we went live. I'm like, are you going brunette on us?
I think she should go black for All Out.
Like straight, full-on black hair, like,
Fucking
like in our EFED when you went evil.
I know. Once upon a time, throwback to like sophomore and junior year of high school, I thought I was Morticia Adams, and I had the full-on jet black hair.
I can just imagine, like, we all have entrance music when we walk into the house in 3 weeks, and hers is Hawthorne Heights, Ohio's for Lovers, and her hair is all black.
When I was a young
Oh, you're gonna do the Black Parade.
Oh wow! Like I never had an emo phase. I
What?
had
Can't
a
make it on
fake
my
goth
own.
phase. But what's up, everybody? Glad to be here again on a Thursday. I mean, like we're like back and forth between Thursday, Friday. You know,
I take
we
full
switch it up
responsibility for that.
every once in a while because Kyle's Canadian and Hawks is life. But you know, we
have
out
a hard
here.
at 7 o'clock, right?
Yeah, we can stretch it. 7:10 is like max time for us tonight.
Cool.
So we're gonna talk really fast. But
So yeah, FTR was good, and Moxley was fine, and Jericho.
Shade the belt chip because there's gonna be the match of House of Black featuring. And it's like,
Yeah, we have to
okay.
go faster than Excalibur before the main event. That's how fast we have to be today. But yes, joining us as well is Anthony DeStefano. Game of whatever.
Listen,
I mean, I'm wearing your Game of Ant hat.
Why
right
are
now,
we?
actually.
Why are you like announcing me like we're still in our EFED? Like you're like Anthony, just like it's not. This is the Kirk Rander. It's Anthony. You don't have to act like you hate
I
me.
know. I'm just tired. To be
You don't
honest.
have to act like you fucking hate me. Keep
Yeah.
kayfabe alive.
Ant's
Like
here
this
too, I
jerk.
guess. This
Ugh,
fucking
Oh,
this
he's
freaking
guy.
back. This
guy.
guy has quit
And
6 times and
this
comes back.
guy.
But
Hey,
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, that main event that we're getting, I can't wait to talk about it. I can't wait. But it feels good to be back. I know I came back, then I took a week off because I had the card show last week, which was fucking awesome. Time with my father was great. And now I'm back again.
It's good. No, I actually am happy you're back. But despite how I sound, I'm actually happy you're back.
You sound like I sounded when I realized JR was on commentary at 8 p.m. last night.
The first thing right out the gate in the group text chat, he was just like, JR at 8, great. Like,
Damn. Mama POVs, I miss Phil. I didn't see any I miss ants. Well, I wasn't even in chat, but
yeah, you weren't in the chat. No, it's like she showed her protest by just not being here.
I thought I was her favorite Mama POV. That's it. I'm not coming up to Newark anymore.
Newark. The Newark, New Jersey.
Newark.
Anyways,
Newark, damn it.
Is that where you're flying out of, Jackie? Newark?
Yep, Newark, New Jersey, baby.
Wow, I'm flying out of Buffalo.
Wait, so you have to drive to the United States and then fly?
Well, Buffalo is only like 50 minutes from me.
Wait, how long?
50.
Are you like a Bill? How are you a fucking Patriots fan? You have the best fan base in the world.
See, I'm
50
telling you,
minutes
it's
from
not
you.
my fault. My dad sat me down. He's like, watch football. I guarantee you'll love it. I turn on the TV.
Listen, you son of a bitch.
I'm telling you, it was the Patriots, and I think they were playing the Eagles. But it was with the Drew Bledsoe era of the Patriots. that shitty era. And that's when I
that
first started
man-
watching football.
That man almost died on the field.
Yeah. So
He did. That's why Tom Brady became a thing.
So yeah, that's how I became a Patriots fan. It's a really boring story, but anyways,
that was terrible. I was expecting.
I don't have like a
sentimental. Like my dad gifted
Do you
me a
expect a
jersey for
Canadian
my
to have
5th
like
birthday.
a great football story?
I mean, come on, like it could happen. I know plenty of Canadians that like football, but you could have went sentimental with it. Like you could have enhanced it.
My
a
dad-
little
Could
bit,
have made
kayfabe,
something
but
up.
My
But I
dad
grew up
got
a
me
Patriots fan.
Patriots jersey that said Kyle on the back, and I just couldn't turn my back on him, kind of thing. But you're like, I just saw a game and it was cool. I liked blue. Okay.
Yeah, they had a good jersey. I started liking them. Anyways, yeah. So great week. Another great episode of Dynamite. Again, where it's basically this is the official like last stretch to All Out. There's 4 weeks until All Out, so all the builds started basically and continued last night. But one thing we got revealed to us last night, which we're getting to right away, is the Trios tournament. They released the bracket for the Trios tournament, and only was it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, or 2, 4, 6, 8? Yeah, so 16. Am I an idiot? 8 teams. Holy shit! I was counting each as 2. Fuck. See, this is I'm tired. I'm tired, guys. I'm tired. Anyways, we're moving on. Yes, 8.
Kyle can count.
He got up to 16. I'm like, what the fuck is
8
he counting?
teams. 8 teams. Even though they're even though with everyone healthy, there could be 16 teams. Let's be honest here.
But that was the
You're doing real
surprise,
well.
right? Like the surprise was like that Undisputed Elite weren't on that list.
They're not exactly cleared.
They're not cleared.
Cool.
I know they had a little bit of action last
Yeah.
week, but like that, I think that surprised me the most because I thought that's where you were going to go with it. I thought that's where you were going to go with the finals.
Right? Yeah.
I thought it'd be the Undisputed Elite versus the Hungbucks or the Real Elite. But
there's 2 teams in this that are very interesting teams because they're not technically AEW, and that one is Osprey and Aussie Open, which were added, which is just add some flavor, which is crazy. That means that'd be not. I mean, it's not going to happen, but it'd be crazy if they ever won. And there are the first AEW World Trios tournament or World Trios champions. And then the other side, you have Trust Busters, who were literally just created 2 weeks ago, and that's the team of Arya Davari assembled with what's the guy's name that wears the upside down frickin' visor hat? Oh, Slim J or something like that.
and
then
Parker Bordeaux.
And Parker Boudreaux, which is like, yes, okay, that guy. There's some potential. That guy. I've been watching his dark matches. And then he's getting a Rampage match actually tomorrow.
Baby Brock.
Yeah. And
Baby Brock.
You know, and it's funny we say that. My man literally has like all the Brock mannerisms. When you watch him in the ring, he does everything that Brock does. So I'm like, okay, my man's just going full Brock.
Yeah, but that's to me, like, you got to get away from that. You know what I mean? Like, you have to.
I think he's a far ways away. Like, he's going to get some training done, and if he can be Brock but better, that's money. That's for sure money. But from what I read, Trustbusters are going to be in Ring of Honor when that thing gets going.
I know this AEW show, and I know I'm supposed to not like the Feb. Nothing that they ever produce is going to be bigger than Brock.
No, I know.
Because the way Brock transcended and went to the NFL, then went to UFC. Like, there's not another Brock Lesnar in athletics.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, maybe not star power, but maybe he can adapt some in-ring wrestling that maybe Brock doesn't do.
People forget that Brock was hitting shooting star presses and shit. Like, when
and
he
almost
was
breaking
first
his neck.
Yeah,
That's like learn real quick to not do that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think Parker Bordeaux's got the look. He's not as big as Brock, but like, I like that there's more powerhouse guys coming to AEW because my biggest knock on them when they first started was like, your big guy's a dinosaur. Like, that was that's all they had. You had the dinosaur guy and the steroid guy, Brian Cage. Now you're starting to get these bigger dudes here. Like, and I think Parker Bordeaux's not like a big guy, but he's a big guy. Like, Miro's a big guy. Like, Brody King is a big dude. Like,
he presents himself really well for a big guy. And
Wardlow, I mean, obviously.
I can't see them beating the best friends, but hey, maybe we've seen crazier things happen.
I can see if there's an upset, that
Trustbusters.
But isn't the story though? No, because the Dark Order on the other side of the bracket
So
with?
No, the Dark Order's on the same side as the Trustbusters.
No, are the Dark Order on the same side as
Best friends? Yes.
No,
Yes.
Young Bucks.
No.
No.
Bucks are on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that might be the finals.
If I can actually.
So yeah, if there's going to
Do
be
this
one
live,
upset, it could be. That's what I would think, right? The upset would be the best friends getting upset because like they're serious, but they're not. I don't think they have a chance, honestly.
Right. So if I can do some on the go producing for everyone watching, there's the bracket right now on screen. So yeah, the right side of the bracket: House of Black, Dark Order, Trustbusters, and Best Friends. You have House of Black and Dark Order together taking on each other, Trustbusters and Best Friends.
How does anybody beat House of Black in that side of the bracket? I have an answer. They don't.
So
they shouldn't. They
don't.
shouldn't. But I really hope.
There
Why
is a
is the
story
left
here.
side? Why is the left side so fucking stacked and the right side not?
I think there's a story here. I think the House of Black are also a possibility of getting upset because of what we got on Dynamite. Hangman's not with the Bucks for the tournament, and now it's almost certain it's going to be Omega next week. Are
we sure they're not swerving us, man?
I think
they're taking a long detour.
I don't think Omega's back next week. That's really weird to just have him come back in a random Dynamite next week. I think we're going to get Omega at All Out. I think it's
not a random Dynamite. It's a Game of Thrones Dynamite.
Okay, but I don't think Omega's coming back next week. The reason why they have these titles, they weren't gonna. Tony Khan said they weren't gonna debut until Omega's here. So I think it's gonna be Cutler. The Bucks are gonna carry Cutler up until probably the finals, where Cutler will be not medically cleared to compete with the Bucks.
Karate Kid type shit.
And that's where Kenny Omega returns with the Bucks. And then on the other side, it's going to be the Dark Order. I think is going to run table on that other side because Hangman said he's going to be in their corner for the tournament.
Being in their corner doesn't mean they're wrestling for them.
No, but like, what's the point of Hangman being in their corner if they're not going to go to the finals?
So it is a redirection so the Hungbucks can fucking come out in Chicago and
but the Young Bucks
roof.
match is next week, though. They can't do it. They can't wait.
Then do it next week.
No, like Dark Order's match isn't next week either. It's like the first match is next week, and it's Young Bucks.
If Dark Order comes out of that fucking bracket, I'm leaving All Out.
Book your plane ticket, buddy, because I'm pretty sure that's what it looks like it's going to happen.
I know, it'll probably be Dark Order versus the Hungbucks, and maybe
no, it's
they
not
do
going to
run
be the Hungbucks. I think it's going to be Kenny and the Bucks, and
what
Hangman's going to be there.
What if they run an injury angle where Cutler gets hurt and the finals, they have a mystery, and Hangman then joins the Elite to fight the Dark Order?
I mean, that's also another possibility. Like, what if next week they end up? Maybe it's announced.
You don't dance
BT.
around the Hangman thing. You do, not
BT is going to be big next week. Now I think we're going to get who. I think we're probably going to get who they pick on BT. Is probably they're going to pick Cutler, and then maybe by Dynamite next week, Cutler's hurt or gets taken out or whatnot, and that's when maybe Hangman fills in.
The show's not perfect, right? But one thing Tony Khan always does, it might take an extra long time, like we saw with Julia Hart. There's always a payoff.
Yeah.
Always. And there's always a payoff. You don't tease this Hangman stuff, especially the Bucks are the best storytellers in wrestling. I'm sorry. They are. You don't tease this whole big reunion that has people in their fucking emotions when Matt's fucking talking to Hangman last night to not put them back together. I get that. Like, he's like, hey, how don't you team up with someone who you haven't turned on? And that's kind of the Kenny Omega hit. But I think it would be more convoluted if they win the Trios champions and then Kenny Omega walks out and comes face to face with Hangman and the Bucks have to choose. Like, that would be fun too.
It's tough.
But then where do we get Kenny Omega? Like, where do we get Kenny and all
Where should
this?
Kenny be? The world title.
Yeah, but he won't be because they're
Give me Kenny Omega versus CM Punk at Grand Slam.
Which is something they can do.
But then we don't. But then we don't get Kenny Omega at All Out? Then like
All Out, he comes out when Punk's gonna beat Moxley, right? Like, I love Moxley. Punk needs a proper reign. Punk's gonna hold that title up. Kenny Omega comes out, battle for the best in the world at fucking Arthur Ashe.
One
How are
guy-
you going to top?
Yeah.
How are you going to top Brian
Oh.
Danielson versus Kenny Omega
I've
last
also
year?
heard another rumor or another
MJF.
yeah, him coming out
Yep.
at the end at All Out. I'm like, oh man, would that be a fucking insane pop if he comes out at the end, because he's been radio silent for months.
I think you're going to get the double debut again. I do. I think all the aces are coming into play. Don't forget, if the Elite wins, you can always have the undisputed Elite come out, and you can have that stare down for maybe Arthur Ashe if they get cleared.
Yeah.
So, like, as much as I don't want to say, because All Out was the best show of last year, All Out is going to help build the Arthur Ashe show this year, because everyone's now coming back from injuries, and you only have 3 weeks till All Out. So you need to book a fucking card when you had a lot of people injured still.
So another
is Danielson part of the Black Bull Combat Club? Because he's never with them.
He's facing Daniel Garcia next week in a rematch, 2 out of 3 falls.
But he's never
Yes.
with them. He's never with them.
Regal comes out with him when he has his matches, but he's never teamed with them yet.
No. That's
I
interesting.
don't think so. But another way that we could see Kenny coming out next week is also this. We know that Kenny and Ospreay, like, it's weird that Ospreay and Aussie Open are here, right? That's just like a random team
That
thrown
was
in
my
there.
other thought.
That's like very, very random and weirdly random, because they could have thrown a put together dark team in there. Who cares, right? They have other teams. It's just weird that they threw Ospreay and Aussie Open in there. And then if you look at the bracket, if I pull it up again, there's a possibility if Kenny comes back next week, Kenny and the Bucks against Will Ospreay. No, they'd have to be Death Triangle, but it's a possibility. Will Ospreay and Aussie Open in the semifinals, and there's all that Twitter beef with Kenny and Ospreay.
If you're gonna get Ospreay Kenny, you get him 1-on-1. If you're gonna make money off it, you have to do it 1-on-1.
Yes and no. Yes, they could, and in no, it's just like, but they've teased it. Maybe they don't want to do a 1-on-1 match. Maybe this is what we get instead.
Listen, I'm in for whatever, honestly.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting. It's a very, very interesting bracket with some random.
You know what's fun is, like, we're sitting here and we are mentioning people and teams that aren't involved. That's how deep this roster is. Like, we're like mentioning a bunch of people that aren't involved.
Yeah.
Like, at one point, the Dark Order could have had fucking 2 teams in this.
So it makes me think, like,
Half of them left, but
what's BCC going to be doing now at the pay-per-view?
But that's what the thing. Like, BCC's not in it. Like, you could have had Yuta Danielson and
Cesaro
Claudio.
And Claudio, yeah.
Who's fucking beating them? Like,
that's very interesting.
I don't know. I tend to think it's going to be some fucking last match ever against the JAS. But it looks like, to me, it looks like Jericho might be like transforming from the JAS a little bit, just from his recent, like, I know they helped him. Sammy Guevara helped him last night, right? But Rita's Twitter, the Lionheart thing, unless it was just for this week, it kind of looks like he's evolving again, as Jericho always does.
Possibility. We'll see. I mean, they can't. And I don't know how far they want to stretch this JAS crap, but I guess we'll have to see when the time comes. But
unless the JAS becomes more serious,
yeah.
Like, maybe that's what Jericho's doing, because they did come out at the end. But maybe they're just he's becoming.
I don't know.
Like,
You can be serious.
more of a
These
threat.
sports entertainers, and you have Anna Jay just choking people and almost making them have.
Yeah, but that's like
titties
more
fall
of a.
out.
Oh.
I don't know
Whoa.
if anyone's seen that?
Oh, Kyle.
Whoa,
no,
whoa!
but-
I'm sorry, but when she's choking the girl on TV last night, it was just the camera decided to look down.
I'm Googling right now.
Anyways, nothing popped out. I'm just saying it was very close.
Well, then I got to see it.
Anyway, so
Video evidence.
while you take a look, we're going to talk about the actually opening match of Dynamite, which was Darby Allin against Brody King, and an amazing coffin match, and that even had the perfect ending for a coffin match. But I want to know what you guys thought about it, and I'm gonna start with Jackie. Jackie, what do you think of the opening of Dynamite, opening up with a coffin match with Brody King and Darby Allin that I believe delivered? And I'm gonna say you probably agree.
I absolutely 100% freaking agree on that. Even just the way that it kicked off, because I love me a House of Black entrance, you know this. But then just like Darby, like the straight up ambush attack from the beginning, you know that set the stage. I feel like that was like record blood for a Dynamite because it wasn't even like
Yeah, there was a
3
lot
minutes.
of blood.
There wasn't even 3 minutes into the damn match, and you know, like Darby brought out that thumbtack skateboard, and Brody King was just completely busted wide open, bananas. The avalanche code read by Darby on Brody off the turnbuckle, like despite the size difference, that shit always blows my mind because Darby, you know, for all intents and purposes is never the biggest guy in the fight, and Brody King is like this menacing huge guy, so just seeing stuff like that is always crazy. I always feel bad in matches like this when like there was a spot where Brody King was trying to do the double table spot, and there was one table that just completely malfunctioned, and
Poor
he had to
guy.
like abandon ship and just toss the one table off to the side. Not that it mattered because when he set it up and he was going to go through, he completely ate that table bump anyway, all on his own. But just like complete train wreck, not like in a bad way, but just car crash of a match. Craziness. The lights go out. Malachi and Buddy are there. Julia trips Darby under the ring. I love when Ant becomes like Nostradamus and freaking like calls something like a minute before it happens. He's
Because
like,
it's fucking Sting, dude.
he's
It's
like,
Sting.
Sting is gonna be. He's like, is Sting gonna be in the coffin? And then like a minute later, bing! It's like freaking, you know, Sting is in the freaking coffin.
It's Sting!
Yeah. Oh, what is he doing? When did he get in there? I don't know. When the lights were out for fucking 2 minutes.
With the eye paint, you know, throws the bat at Malachi. I mean, like it was straight up pandemonium.
Yo,
But
shout out to the cameraman who totally missed fucking the face off between Sting and Malachi.
We were complaining about that shit. But talk about the perfect freaking ending with Darby choking Brody King out with his own chain and dropping him into the coffin, like hearkening back to the battle royal match with Brody King like choking Darby out and then dropping him out of the ring. So it was really solid way to open Dynamite, and I think it was probably one of the better done coffin matches for AEW. So really good stuff.
Yeah, some good storytelling. And I got some news about Buddy Matthews. If everyone's wondering where he was, this is according to Brian Alvarez today. I was listening to a show.
Hopefully getting choked out by Rhea, because that's where I would be.
Well, maybe, because apparently he was there was some heat with him a little bit backstage, but I guess it's blown over. But I guess the heat was because he took some dates that weren't approved by AEW management. So there was a little bit of heat there, and that's why he was kind of kept off for a bit. So it looks like it's blown over, and he's back now, which is great. But yeah, that's according to Alvarez, and that's what he's heard. So
he's wrong.
But anyways, yeah, what you think of the match? And besides your favorite,
he took some
part,
dates with Rhea Ripley, is what he did, and she probably pulverized him, and that's a perfect reason to be out. And I would like to be out too.
Hey, I said it in the group chat I was with last night. I was talking with our EFED pals there, and I'm like, I guarantee you that, you know, PG people keep your earmuffs on right now. Earmuffs.
Fuck, shit, bitch.
No,
okay, go ahead. Kyle.
I was like, you know what? I guarantee you that Rhea and Buddy have a red room. 100%.
Oh yeah.
100% have a red room. If you guys don't get the reference, well, that's too bad. I'm not going to explain it.
Oh, boy.
And what you guys think? What you guys thought about the, or what you think about the coffin match?
Yeah, don't judgment day me. You see that pun?
Adam, I don't need earmuffs. I'm an adult.
I thought it was good. Listen. First off, I look down. I text you guys. I look down because I dropped something. I look up. Brody King's fucking bleeding all over the place. I'm like, I looked away for 4 seconds. What happened? How is he fucking? I've never seen someone bleed like this. What happened? You're like thumbtack skateboard. Okay, makes sense. My man must have lost like ounces and ounces of blood last night because it was all over the fucking place. Darby, to quote Phil's going to have a great 2-year career because my God, that guy's going to kill himself. Like he throws himself like a rag doll. I like this feud. I like the start. I'm not the biggest fan of Darby winning. I feel like Darby always gets in these feuds and he always wins, and that's great, but it does nothing for him, and it does nothing for the people. Like House of Black gets that win, it feels different. Like, oh fuck, like Brody King beat the shit out of Darby and put him in a casket. Like, I feel like you could do more with Darby coming back from the casket, right? Coming back with his like emo self or whatever. Maybe MGK can play him to the ring. I don't know. Do something like emo. And then Brody King could, the House of Black needs to be booked as a fucking dangerous force. And I hate that they make I get why it wasn't Malachi, because they don't want Malachi to lose, but Brody shouldn't lose and Buddy shouldn't lose. And if Julia Hart has match, they should be built as an unstoppable force. So when someone stops them, it means something. When Miro stops them, it's like, holy fuck, Miro is the redeemer. He is the savior. But instead, it's like they call these audibles to Darby, and it almost feels like Jungle Boy. And they do this with the pillars, where even Sammy, like they always go their way. And it's like, no, you could use these guys now to build a Brody King, who that would be the biggest singles win of his career, and it would elevate the House of Black even more.
He's already beaten Darby. So, I mean, this
not
was almost
at
like
Darby's match, though.
Yeah.
Like, when people beat The Undertaker in coffin matches, it fucking meant something. When Mankind buried The Undertaker alive, even after losing, buried The Undertaker alive, you're like, oh my God, what's next for him? And then it makes Mankind look like a threat. So why aren't you making people look like actual threats? Darby always fucking wins. The only feuds he didn't win were Punk and MJF.
Yeah, okay. I know what you're saying. Yeah,
because it's not like his TNT titles were feuds; they were just kind of big matches.
I just hope then this is not the end. If this is the end of it, then that's probably not great, because I want to know where this is going to. Are we getting a tag match at All Out with Sting and Darby against, because they're in the trios tournament.
See, so my thinking when I'm watching everything unfold last night is, I know it's past the COVID era, but this is the perfect cinematic match.
Yeah.
The mastermind that is Malachi, the mastermind that is Darby, working together on almost like a film type match. I don't care. I would sit in an arena and watch.
That would be insane.
That was
right.
Good. That was really, really good. The one they did.
Imagine both of them. Yeah. Imagine both of them sitting in a room. It'd be like you're on acid, because you're like, these ideas are fucking nuts. But it would be so cool to see, and maybe that's where we go, or maybe we get I don't know. I loved it. I love the ending. The ending was dope. I think it was perfectly executed. It was something different. I just didn't like who stood tall. That's all. I'm cool with everything else. I just think with Darby, he needs some character development, because it's been the same fucking character for 3 years to me.
Well, speaking of, you mentioned him, Miro. Miro cut that promo with Julia Hart, which was fantastic, by the way. That was very well done. And then we got
it all out.
I think we got the biggest CJ tease. We had the biggest CJ tease that we've ever gotten this week on there, because he basically mentioned her without actually saying her name. But then the promo almost felt like he was about to join, but then at the end he was saying some stuff that he was going against it, and I'm like, okay, is he in between? And Julia Hart kind of faded to the background, like she didn't like what Malachi or with what Miro said. It was very, very, very intriguing, and I'm loving what they're doing, and I really hope there's a big payoff with that. And
what are your thoughts though? What do you think that meant?
I really want Miro versus Malachi. This is what makes me think that Dark Order are going to run the table, so they're going to eliminate. They're going to eliminate the House of Black. They're going to eliminate the House of Black right away, because it's the first round match, so that House of Black can have these other matches, whether it be a potential Sting and Darby match at All Out, or if it's a Miro versus Malachi one-on-one at All Out. Fuck, I'm sold already. We're already going, but I'm sold on that match for those two to go at it. And if it led to Julia Hart at ringside, and then CJ making her big debut at All Out to help Miro in the end.
So what I got out of that promo, right, was Miro basically thanking Malachi for bringing the darkness out of Miro, because now Miro has the strength through Malachi to destroy what Malachi has built. That's what I got out of it. He's like, you've opened my eyes to this. Thank you for waking me the fuck up, and now I'm going to destroy you. You just woke. It was like waking up the beast within, if you will.
That's an interesting take on it. I can see that.
What do you think, Jackie?
I don't know. It was so ambiguous at the same time. Like I can kind of see like I don't know. Like I just it's hard because when that trios tournament was announced, my first thought was like, oh, House of Black 100%. But because of this whole Miro storyline, it's become so convoluted where I could see they're going to like take it in another direction. And that like hurts my soul a little bit. I know that this feud could be really great. And I know that it's not always about championships and titles and stuff like that. But I don't know. I'm glad Miro's like cutting these like really great, vignettes and promos and stuff like that. We'll see where it goes. They've been teasing this CJ thing like for a long time now. I'm wondering when they're gonna just bite the bullet on it, if they're gonna do it.
She's had a lot of projects over the last year, so I'm wondering if now that it's finally
one thing
up.
that you keep seeing, and this is why I respect her. I know a lot of people didn't like Lana in the ring. She definitely needed work, right? But was in Pitch Perfect, even if it was a different role. She was in a bunch of these movies, and she still has been busy for the year that she's been gone, and she still talks about how much she wants to come back to wrestling, which to me is fucking cool to see because, like, she could easily just. I mean, I'm sure
she's a mix of two, like valet.
I'm sure
and
her website is making tons of fucking money. But here's the truth of her: she's a great fucking promo.
No, she loves wrestling. Like I've seen documentaries where she said like she really, really loves wrestling and wants to learn more. So, like, I mean, if she wants to come back and do a mix of both, like a Penelope, I'm all for that. Like,
who was backstage last night, so hopefully Kip and Penelope are coming soon, baby.
Kip's coming soon, and it's building more traction week by week. This has been actually a very, like, smart build, and I'm glad it's caught on, and people are doing, like, people are going to the arena early just to get pictures with the dude. Like, he's becoming more over for just standing at ringside with a box on his head. Like, who would have thought that you would get that over by standing at ringside with a box in your head for weeks on end? And I can't wait for that reveal, and it's gonna be nuts. But we'll move on here, and we're gonna move on to a really cool match last night. We opened up with a good match, and we had Roosh and Andrade versus the Lucha Bro. Roosh. I can't say their faction name, so y'all have to say it for me. Anyone?
What is it? Los Ingobernables de Facción.
Yeah, it was that. No. Don't even
just call them Los.
It's a Los. And the Lucha Brothers. No more Dark Lucha. Also, Penta Oscuro is we don't have.
He's done.
We don't have Uncle Fester bringing him to ringside either. So we're great here. We're fine. We're back to normal Lucha Brothers.
Nix that because they didn't want him to look like Vince McMahon and them start getting sued for hiding money.
Oh shit!
So
this was an interesting match. Very interesting. They did the whole match.
He didn't look like it was me, Austin. That's exactly what he.
That's exactly what he.
It was the same
like.
cloak. Yeah. Yep. It was a very interesting match. They did the whole mask thing again. I know it's not. It's like I know I seen half.
Dude,
Twitter was half and half with it.
Fucking old, man.
Yeah.
Why do there's 15 fucking masked wrestlers? Penta's the only one who has this problem right now.
Right.
Dude,
and they tied it. Did you see him?
Just
they tied it to the rope, and then like after
your face.
After the match, Andrade was super kicking the mask. Hold up. The funniest part of the whole match was after the match was done, with Penta's mask just hanging there on the rope. Andrade was super kicking it. As was just hanging there. I'm like, what's he doing?
Didn't they throw it into the crowd?
There was two masks. There was another one that Alex had as a backup. But this was
the throw it back chants were hilarious. But first off, if I'm catching like Penta's mask, I ain't throwing that shit back, Marks. Like I'm keeping that.
But unreal matchup. Besides the mask shenanigans, unreal match. When I seen this like get announced, I'm like, oh my god, we're about to get a fucking banger of a match. And they delivered. Like these guys were like dry heaving by the end. They put it all on the line. They fucking delivered. So
why? This is gonna sound weird, but I don't care, man. Man crush. Why is Andrade wearing a shirt?
I asked that in the chat yesterday, and then I got accused of being, asking because I was thirsty.
Andrade, if I look like Andrade, I wouldn't wear a shirt anywhere. Restaurants, bathroom,
both wore one, so it's weird.
I'm not wearing a shirt. No, but Roosh tore his shirt off. He had a tank top on. Andrade must have got whipped by Charlotte or something.
I don't know. Maybe you.
Oh my god,
a lot of Dom talk tonight. A lot of Dom talk.
Yeah.
Regardless of that, though,
the
match was fantastic. I think it was great, and now we have the Lucha Brothers going into the tournament. And then Roosh and Andrade will be in the tournament, but they're getting Roosh's brother to team up with them.
Dragon Lee.
Dragon Lee to
Dragon
come
Lee,
in.
baby.
That's so hyped about that.
And they're facing Osprey and Ozzy, or no, the Bucks are facing whoever their partner is facing that team of 3, which is going to be insane next week. The House of Dragons tag team match next week. They got 2 matches sponsored by that new Game of Thrones prequel show coming out. It's just hilarious, but whatever. It's business. Luchasaurus faced Anthony Henry. They're still continuing. I thought this week we maybe would get what we're looking for, but they're still dragging it along. So I'm wondering what they're actually doing with this storyline. Like Luchasaurus is still Dark Lucha, still coming out with the fire and the Demon Kane almost.
I think they were just trying to make him more serious, but is he going to really be serious? And I love Jungle Boy, but is he going to be serious if he's with Jungle Boy? I don't think so.
That's what I mean. Like, if he was back with Jungle Boy, wouldn't he already been back to Green Luchasaurus?
Well,
like,
Jungle Boy's not.
I don't think so.
Jungle Boy's not running around dressed up like Tarzan. I think you see Jungle Boy kind of.
he's not in the ring yet.
But I think this is where you might see hopefully, the reconfiguration, if you will, of Jungle Boy to not be Jungle Boy.
So like they're
it'll
Yeah.
be.
so they
it's
grew
gonna
from
be
the
like-
toy dinosaur in the Jungle Boy to the Jungle Man and the
Hold on.
Dark Dinosaur.
I'm saying that this is like that. This could be. Don't quote me. If I'm Tony Khan, which I'm not, because I wouldn't be on this fucking show, I'd be living my life. If I'm Tony
Wow.
Khan, this is
If I'm
where.
Tony Khan, I'm coming on this show. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
Tony
Well,
Khan,
he
we got a
listens.
free chair, Tony Khan. Come
Yeah,
on.
he listens, so why not? But if I'm him and I see what Jungle Boy's doing and I see how the crowd kind of turned on Jurassic Express a little bit because it felt boring and Jungle Boy's gimmick wasn't hitting and Luchasaurus gimmick wasn't hitting. Now Jungle Boy comes back, he's calling people pussies, right? Like he feels different.
He's wearing the shirt.
He feels more rated like R. So maybe this is where you can do that transition from when like the rocker Shawn Michael became the Heartbreak Kid, or when fucking Edge left the Brood and became Edge, the rated R. Like this is where you could hit on Jungle Boy. I feel this is where you could switch him, make him more serious, and put the rocket to him to move up the card instead of having him dangling around with a dinosaur.
Well, this is kind of what I was saying like a while back, where I was like, do we transition him away from the Jungle Boy gimmick, like, and take him out of like, the whole coming out in the loincloth and the fringe and the stuff like that, like just move him completely out of that style of gimmick and, make him more Jack Perry, like, and make him more like serious and kind of take him into that more adult category. And it's like they seem to be moving him in that direction now that he's more comfortable on the microphone and he's more comfortable cutting the promos and being like that more aggressive side. It would make more sense to kind of just transition him the rest of the way and go in that direction. So I think that would be the wise thing to do and just capitalize on it.
So what do we think is going to happen here, though? Like, are Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus back together? And like, is Christian like just mentioned shit like Adam? Like, is there a heater in the back pocket of Christian?
I still think Jungle Boy can get turned on by Luchasaurus.
So like all outs match, what are we looking at? Because clearly, if they're slow building this, it's going to be an
Jungle
all out
Boy
match.
versus Christian or Jack Perry. Let's call him because I don't want to call him Jungle Boy anymore. Versus Christian. Luchasaurus turns. This can still
turns
evolve. It was all a ploy from Christian to make Jungle Boy think that he had the upper hand. Christian's a veteran. He's not stupid. You know what I mean? Has Luchasaurus touched Christian?
No, he has not touched him yet. Because when Jungle Boy
usually things are set in stone in wrestling when they touch, right?
Yeah.
Like when they make
when
contact.
he ran to the back, Jungle Boy, and the security stopped, and Christian was already gone. And which is funny because in that scene we saw Pat Buck make his TV debut and get knocked out. I think it was by Luchasaurus, which was hilarious.
I think that Luchasaurus is still in Christian's back pocket, and then it becomes how does Jack Perry overcome these odds with his old best friend and Christian, and that's when you can you have to get him away from Luchasaurus to get him away from the whoa thing, right? Because if they're together,
I love
they're
that,
always
though. That gets over.
Okay, but if you're good, you'll get something else over. Jericho's had 43 gimmicks,
Yeah, but I don't know.
and all of them got over. He's fucking throwing
At
fireballs.
least wait till they
and
go to the
people are
UK
like,
because I just
"We
want to see
saw
the whole
tweets
UK
last time,
crowd.
Where's the Wizard? The fucking for real saw tweets. Where's the Wizard? He got a Wizard over.
I don't think he.
If you're
changes the
good,
theme
you get
song.
it over.
I think he keeps that.
But then you're still that song's called Tarzan.
I don't think he's gonna.
or something, right?
I don't think he's gonna drop the Jungle Boy gimmicks now, but maybe
He should.
eventually.
This is your
'Cause
time.
he's so
This
young,
is your
but he's so
fucking time.
young. He's got
Exactly.
he's got light years ahead to change his gimmick.
Yeah. Okay. So I totally disagree.
Okay.
Can you imagine if fucking Vince sat on Shawn Michaels for a couple more years as a rocker? He wouldn't been the fucking greatest performer in that company.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll
now
see.
he's a little wonky eyed, but still, back then,
Back
Oh
then,
my
there was
God.
more. Back then, their roster wasn't convoluted, so convoluted and stacked like AEW's roster is. There was more room to become a Shawn Michaels back then.
these guys
Here's
that
a
he
lot of
signed,
stars.
these guys that he signed, right? And this is just business. I know, let's not talk business, but we have to. CM Punk's 45, 44.
Something
He's
like
got
that.
2 years
He's
left. Brian
more or
Danielson.
less.
Brian Danielson has already admitted when this contract's over, he's probably retiring. That's 2 years left, right? You have Jericho, which
Danielson signed longer. I'm pretty sure.
3 years each.
Okay.
So Jericho, he's at the end, right? He's doing like last night was great, but he's at the end.
Yeah.
You need to start building these young guys because in 2 years you're going to need them. Granted, Moxley's 35 or 36, and then Adam Cole's 32, and you have these young guys, Andrade, like you have them,
Malachi.
but you have really leaned in to your core four, your pillars, if you will. Those are the guys that need to now. The pillars can only be the pillars for so long before they have to become what helps, be the foundation of the company. They have to grow. They have to like support this company. When Punk, Danielson, Jericho, that's all household names. They need to start building household names. Wardlow can be in that conversation because I feel like in the next year, Wardlow's going to fucking explode everywhere. Like, I really think that guy's like your star. And not, Jackie said explode everywhere, and now she's hot and bothered. I see her sweating.
That popped me. Sorry.
You would no, I popped my nut.
Well, speaking of Jackie and hot and bothered, so Wardlow had a
No, he
segment.
did not even do that.
Wardlow had a segment with
Great transition.
Lethal and Sanjay and Satnam Singh. I don't know what they're really.
I'm
they're
so
heading.
over this.
I really
I'm so
don't know
over
where
this.
Wardlow's going with this, but I really hope we're not getting a freaking trios match at All Out, and that's what I fear that we're getting. But
Oh my God, please don't even say that out loud.
We also have FTR coming out to help Wardlow along, and they all ran out of the ring. And I don't know what the hell Sanjay Dutt was looking for. They spent like a little bit of time. Like Sanjay Dutt was like looking for something under the one side of the ring, and he couldn't find it. And then the camera had to keep cutting in and out, in and out, in and out. And he just looked like he just didn't find it. And then they kind of ended the segment. I'm like, all right. But oh God, I really hope this is not where it's going. And I'm very scared.
No,
this is where it's
please
going.
do not.
I know,
Listen,
but like,
yo, listen. This is my acclaim moment. I just want to say they hyped the hell out of the fact that's like FTR returns this week. Like they just like gassed it up and gassed it up. And as much as I am not going to complain about seeing FTR and Wardlow and the little mini Pinnacle reunion, that I'm very happy about that. I thought we were getting a match. I thought we were gonna get like some FTR like real.
do you think that they're giving
time.
him some time though to rehab? Because I know they were banged up going into that last match.
Dax has a
But-
torn labrum.
Yeah, he's been
Yes,
battling a torn
he
labrum.
does. But like, why would you hype up a return like that?
Because
It
and
didn't
then
say in
just-
action. They would have put
They just said
FTR in
FTR
action.
returned, so they
Yeah.
did return. It's like CM Punk returned. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a little like,
I was kind of hoping for like an FTR match, but
We know Tony Khan
Yeah.
loves the rating pops. That was part of the rating pop promotion. So
yeah, it was just a little anticlimactic in that regard. But I'm never gonna complain about seeing FTR and Wardlow on my screen at the same time. So okay.
here's the thing.
But
I hate
please,
bringing-
no
I hate bringing up-
trios.
I hate bringing up ratings and popping, but AEW ratings have been the same. Like nothing's
Yeah.
spiked them. Maybe Punk will next week, but you need to do something. You need to like. I feel like Quake by the Lake was kind of a fucking joke. It was a great show. Does you need to name every Dynamite?
No, it's.
We just had
I'm
Fighter
assuming
Fest.
it has to do a lot with the business side too. That we not a lot of people.
Who
like
the
to
fuck
talk
sponsored them? The Lake?
No, but I'm talking about like dealing with like like the television deals with TBS. Like, oh, we're gonna do some specials, and here when we're in Minnesota, we're gonna call it Quake by the Lake, and the TBS doesn't freaking sit there and watch wrestling every week. They're just like, oh, cool, we're gonna have a specially themed this, and we can promote it. It's gonna be a big episode of Dynamite. It's probably just business stuff that we don't really talk about. But
I don't know. I just feel
I
like
just don't want that to be the match at All Out. Wardlow
No,
and FTR versus
I
them.
swear to God.
The only
if
saving
it
grace
is,
we
I'll be
have
so pissed.
is that next week the tag champs, Swerve and Our Glory have a segment there. They have a talking segment next week. So
I thought that was
hopefully-
on Rampage.
Or is that Rampage tomorrow?
That's a
you sure?
Rampage segment. Pretty sure it is.
Well, then hopefully we find out maybe FTR interrupts them or something. I'm holding out because who else is going to face them? Right? There's no one really like Starks and Hobbs aren't together anymore. So who's going to face them? So it's got to be FTR. Like who else is going to be there?
I don't know. We'll find out. It's on the Rampage rundown, so we'll find out tomorrow night.
Yep.
I'm reading about it right now.
Did you go and look up spoilers?
Yeah. I don't fucking watch Rampage.
Okay.
This show's trash.
Well, one thing that happened on Dynamite.
Okay. That was ass.
So one thing that happened on Dynamite that something that we've talked about in the show before that we want to see, because they like to do the TNT belt on TBS and then the TBS belt on TNT. We actually had the TBS belt defended on TBS this week. Jade Cargill defended it against Madison Rayne, who was just recently signed as a coach / in-ring performer here and there. This was one of those moments. Whatever. It is what it is. It was another way to build up Jade and her record, and then we got what we got after. They're building a storyline towards All Out. So it looks like Athena versus Jade is your All Out match. So, for this match, I have to ask the question to you both. Is Athena the one?
I've been telling you guys that I think that they were building it up like she's the one that is giving Jade the run for her money. They keep building up like Jade seems at least mildly intimidated by her. They make it look like, Jade's kind of like, I don't know, like it. I know that we keep talking about it, like, where do you go at this point? This is the ongoing issue with the undefeated streak. It's just like, okay, you're going to have to build somebody to defeat her. And then, okay, well, once somebody defeats her, you're going to have to make Athena look like a complete badass. You're going to have to book her strong because she just took out somebody who has a 36-0 freaking undefeated streak at this point.
Yep.
But I think Athena is a big enough star. She has enough credibility to her name that if they really wanted to, they could give her the spot to run with it. We know, unfortunately, Chris Statlander, is she's out with injury.
I
God,
really think
so
she was going to face the world champion. I honestly thought that was going to be the match.
For her.
I think that was supposed to be, because when we got that thunderstorm segment backstage, I'm like, ooh, this feels like it was just put together today. So I think that Statlander I think the story was going to be Statlander and Thunder Rosa at All Out, and that's a shame. But
I'm going to say something that's going to shock people.
Oh God.
As long as you take the belt off Thunder, you can take the belt off Jade.
So
because if you're going to do it, totally redirect the women's division.
I mean,
give Tony Storm the women's title.
It could be a fresh start, yeah.
You need to fresh start it so it's not Britt Baker. So it's not Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa.
God, besides
Jade,
the TNT belt, every title could change hands
Jade.
at All Out.
because like the TBS championship, to me, like, Jay needs to drop it because Jay needs to be the champion of the brand. Jade has that star power to be the champion of the whole fucking brand.
Yeah, I would transcend her to the world title.
You
by
have
full gear.
to.
Yeah,
you have to. because her, like, I don't know if you've been watching, like, she's been on
Everything.
like, Comic-Con.
Everything.
She's been on
Yeah, she's a star child.
with Punk.
Yeah.
So you're gonna put her next to Punk. Guess what that means? That is your star of your women's
I'm assuming you
division.
saw that clip where Punk told her to say that bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if she is carrying the TBS championship, that's cool. But I don't want her to be the champion of your show. I want you to be the champion of the brand. I want you to be an AEW women's champion.
Yeah, the world champion.
But if you're doing it, redirect totally. I like Thunder Rosa. The booking of her has been hideous. It's been nonsensical. It's been stupid. It's made her look bad. It has people question if she sandbags people because the competition she's against. You need to turn left here. Let her get back into that baby face. The money's in the chase role. And let someone else run with it so Jade can beat them in 5 months to then jumpstart. Okay, here's our women's champion. Like, where's Ruby Soho? Right? Because I felt like that was the same thing I was saying about her as I'm saying about Thunder. And Ruby Soho's nowhere.
Yeah, she's on Dark.
She's sticking up Freddie Kingston. What is she doing?
No, she just came back. She's wrestling on Dark.
But like you get what I'm saying? Like Thunder Rosa to me is in that line where it's like, you need to get the belt off her before people are just like, whatever, forget about it. Because they're bad at booking her.
I think the money match would be then Thunder and Jade at Full Gear instead of Thunder losing the belt to Tony Storm and then Tony Storm just holding it for 2 months and then giving it to Jade.
You don't have to give it to Jade right away. I'm just saying.
No,
because you can't go Jade wins this, loses this title and then wins this title. You got to let Jade pump the brakes a little bit and start building her. I know it's hard to build someone who's fucking 38-0, but like start.
That's a big. I hope they know what they're gonna do with that. Like as soon as she loses, like what both people, not only just Jade. If it's Athena, they have to like transcend Athena. You can't miss the boat there. You can't just not have her be on TV for 3 weeks after. You can't just have her start facing people on Dark. She's got to like be transcended to the top and stay at the top if you're going to beat someone like Jade, who's been built up for over a year.
They got to reset and they have to do it right this time because, in some respects they have dropped, like Ann said, they dropped the ball with Thunder. This could be an opportunity to do.
Yeah, I'm a fan of her, but I'm not a fan of her reign. Obviously, it's two different things, right? Yeah. But it made me not become a fan of her reign to the point where I'm like, take the belt from her to save her. When do you ever say that?
But to also save the championship, to also save the credibility of the champion.
Mm-hmm. It's floundering. It's floundering. And I get like, this is the problem now because you have your TBS title with an undefeated person. You have your TNT championship with someone who's not going to lose because it's Wardlow. It's like you're boxing yourself in, and now this main title, you're floundering. You don't even know what to do with it. So then it makes it look less important than these mid-card titles that are the TV show titles. Like
they're TV titles. They are TV titles. They
are. Yeah. They're the working man's championship, right? And I don't get it. But if you're gonna have Jade lose, it better be because in the next 8 months, Jade wins the championship. I'm not saying do it in 3 because you got to give her some time to cool off. I think Jade would be a great fucking face personally.
She can.
That's just me. I think she's a tweener, honestly. I don't think people boo her.
I love the pairing of her and Stokely.
Stokely's great.
Stokely, they've been building.
He's great.
He's basically the next Bobby Heenan. He's going around to all these people and not necessarily doing one faction, but handing out his cards so he can manage people in different things. And that's exactly what Bobby Heenan did. So he's basically becoming a Bobby Heenan, which is fantastic.
And I agree, Adam. This is the whole problem is you're getting one women's segment and you're getting it. Last night we got it at 9:10. You're getting one women's segment. Last night we had 2, but like you're getting one match. How are you building people on shows that I don't watch Rampage? It is fucking trash.
I still think he's going to be forced. He's going to be forced to change that.
Rampage sucks. It sucks. The time slot sucks. The show sucks. There's nothing I need to see. I can read the spoilers online. Your YouTube is okay.
And that's where
what is happening. Your YouTube is okay, right?
Yeah, and that's where I think we're going to go
Who's watching YouTube on a Monday?
I think this is where we're going to get into a basically he's gonna get booked into a corner where this sucks because he has Rampage on TNT. Now, what does TNT show? Like we're heading into the fall. TNT is heavy in basketball in the NHL.
Oh, yeah.
So and they take up multiple days of the week. So it's Tony Khan's basically in a corner here with Rampage on where to put it.
So this is the thing, though. Again, business-wise, right? And I think Jackie will agree with me here. Basketball gets millions of viewers, especially if it's LeBron or if it's the Sixers or if it's a popular team. They're going to get... This is where you should make Rampage good because it's on TNT. You have all these eyes. You should have Punk, have Jericho, have Moxley, have Danielson. Because if I'm sitting there and I'm a lapsed wrestling fan who hasn't watched in 6 years, I'm not on Twitter because I'm not a fucking moron, and I sit there and I'm watching the basketball game and I go, wait, that's Daniel Bryan. He's on AEW now? Oh, I'm going to have to watch this. Oh, cool. It's on after this game?
Yeah, what else am I doing? I'm just going to leave the TV on and keep watching.
But no, they're going to give you fucking B-level talent and shitty storylines, and that's what they're going to... And that's all... I'm sorry, that's all Rampage has been to me. Yeah. I haven't watched it in months, and I've told you guys that. You can't have that show where CM Punk came back and one of the most historical events in pro wrestling history turn it into what it is now.
I know you're saying, and I think they're going to... It's almost like they're going to have to wait until that TV deal is done. I guarantee you he'll move Rampage to TBS. And TBS will have both shows because they can have that freedom on TBS to probably put it on another day of the week, even if it's during another sport that's happening at the same time. Like they could probably put it on like a Thursday night at 7 or a Friday night at 7 on TBS. I think
put it anytime.
It's just like
put it an hour before SmackDown.
Yeah,
come on.
Like that's what I mean. I think we're gonna have to deal with what Rampage is. I know that I agree with you. They could definitely put better talent on there if they need to get viewers, but I think the time slot thing
make it Ring of Honor.
It won't change.
Legit, make it Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor. I read and slowly heard through the grapevine that it might not be here until next year, and that will also come the time when Warner Media, who just bought Discovery, because they're about to can HBO Max, and they're about to restructure that into the Discovery Plus app, combine it for a massive streaming service platform, and I think Ring of Honor is going to be shown on that platform. I don't think it's going to be on TV.
Well, whatever. Do so. Rampage's ass. Yeah. It just sucks. I'm sorry.
I think we're going to have to wait. I agree that they should book it better. It's the timing. We're going to have to wait until that contract's over.
Can you imagine? I know this is the problem of not being live, but can you imagine if they held off and they brought Punk's return back on Rampage, and then people go, "Oh fuck, why'd I miss that?" Now, granted, you want to do it with 1 million people watching, but you're cool with 400,000 people watching. You're cool with that because you could have more.
Yeah.
That means half of your audience because you're consistently at 975.
Yeah.
Half of your audience does not give a fuck about Rampage every week.
No, it's in the Eastern time. Like not to put anything against the people in the West, Western time slot. That's a good time for them because that's technically 7 for them. But the majority of your viewers are coming from the East Coast and a lot from overseas who are like it's 3 a.m. for them when Rampage is coming on TV. So like it's tough to get that viewership when you're in a shitty slot. But again, we'll have to wait and see with that. But we'll talk about the main event. There was some other stuff on Dynamite, but nothing worth talking about. We're going to talk about the main event. Moxley and Jericho. The return of the Lionheart. He even brought back the one theme that he used, which was fantastic. He even had the Titantron going. The trunks. He did the whole thing, which is great. We know Jericho's a showman who put on a show. Moxley and Jericho went at it for 30 minutes because this match, the bell rung at 9:31. I watched and looked at the clock when the bell rung. And they went all the way to 9:55, and they put on an absolute pay-per-view quality main event type of match. These two killed it. Both of them busted open the hard way in this match. I really don't think any of them bladed in this match. Like Jericho even ripped.
You see the gash in his head?
Yeah, Moxley's
earring
got ripped out.
Did Jericho break his nose?
Yeah, he broke his nose.
Match?
Yeah,
because
I thought he caught himself. It was in his forehead.
No. His forehead was gashed, but look at his nose.
Because I'm pretty sure he went head first to the turnbuckle and he went the hard way. But anyways, regardless, unreal match. We had the shenanigans after. It ended with 5 minutes up. Okay, I'm like, what's going on? Then the JAS come out. Then the BCC come out. And it's just like beatdowns everywhere. And then you know something's going to happen when Jericho's holding that belt and he's getting ready to hit Moxley. And then we hear the theme song. The fucking roof blows off the building.
Sorry, Jericho broke his nose in that crazy match with Eddie Kingston. So that's why it's still swollen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Punk came back and he looks to be, he was dancing on it and hopping
Dancing
on it.
around.
I'm like, my dude sold it for the last 3 weeks, even at Comic-Con with a boot. He was purposely wearing a boot at Comic-Con and saying that, oh, no, I'm far away from coming back. Oh, great. That's what I love about wrestlers, man. They'll take it to the extreme. Even they'll go to cons and be like, nah, I'm in a walking boot. No, he's fine. But that's great. It's good to hear. And we have our main event for All Out. And what a stare down that was. And, the best was when I'm like, okay, how are they going to end the stare down? Moxley flips him off. I'm like, come on. We couldn't have asked for a better stare down. Could not.
Like, to me, like, this match is everything for me because this is my journey as a wrestling fan, right? Like, I left wrestling in like 2002. I wasn't watching it. I would watch every WrestleMania, and I remember like 2010, CM Punk still had the long hair, still came out the Kill Switch Engage. And I was sitting there drinking with my brother-in-law, and I hear Kill Switch. And I go, who the fuck's that guy? He's like, that's CM Punk. He's like, well, that's my new favorite wrestler. So then I started watching every Monday with him. So CM Punk made me fall back in love with wrestling. I'm like, oh, this is great. CM Punk leaves, but I'm invested. And the thing that keeps me is the Shield, Dean Ambrose. Because at the time, I started becoming a diehard, and I was going to watch, GCW, like old shows, like indie shows, like on DVD, but I would go there and they would show highlights and you'd see Moxley, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, this guy, I love Dean Ambrose and I love the Shield. So they kept me. And then when, Dean left and the Shield broke up, I left wrestling. I watched the pay-per-views. Punk, comes back and then I'm like headfirst in the AEW as a diehard again. So it's like my story and then Moxley and Punk, like this story is like my love letter to pro wrestling. It's going to be fucking great. Like it's every reason I've ever watched wrestling is because of these two guys have a huge part in. So like, and to watch it live, and I get to watch it with Carrie, who me and her became friends over a Dean Ambrose rant with Ant that I did. That's how we became friends off a YouTube video. And I get to watch it with you and Jackie and Phil.
Oh, see that flag back there? I'm bringing that to Chicago and I'm wearing it. I'm wearing that as my cape. Well, not a cape, but I have it draped over my shoulder.
Like it's like a memory, which is like the cool thing about like the story. Like my story with the people that I care for the most is going to be fucking awesome. You're going to see me tear up. Guaranteed.
I was going to say, I'm fully prepared to watch Ant cry.
Yeah.
I'll bring in some tissues. Don't worry. I'll get the pocket tissues for us. We'll be okay. Anyway,
I can't wait. Like I said to Phil, I said that show could have fucking blew for an hour and 55 minutes. Those last 5 minutes make it one of my favorite shows ever.
That was an epic. What a moment that was. Just amazing. Do you have anything to add to this, Jackie?
No, I just think like for all the speculation, because a lot of people were buzzing on Twitter about like, oh, what do you think the surprise is going to be? Because everybody felt like it was going to be like, oh, is there going to be a Kenny Omega return? Is MJF going to return? Everybody was like buzzing about some kind of return. No,
Britt put MJF in her Instagram story.
Yeah, it's like nobody was thinking a CM Punk return. So it's like last 5 minutes, I wasn't even looking at the clock at that point. And the minute I heard that little static noise at the beginning of Cult of Personality, my brain freaking exploded. And it's like CM Punk is just the master of those moments because that crowd went unglued. And I'm like, every freaking time this dude comes back and does his returns, that crowd just completely loses their minds. And I'm just like, I'm so here for it every damn time. And to see him back completely unexpected, it's like, I love when surprises in wrestling are not ruined for me. And that was a hell of a moment. Like you said, Mox turning around, flipping him off. Like, he's like, I don't give a shit if all these people are happy to see you. I don't give a shit that you're here. I don't respect you. I'm not happy to see you. I don't care. We'll have our match. And, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not even going to give you the respect. And I'm like, typical Mox behavior. And this match is going to be freaking insane. I can't wait.
Yeah.
All out. It's going to be
That's the thing with
Can
Moxley.
I touch on the Britt Baker post?
Yeah.
So if you guys remember, Punk and MJF seemed to be vying for Britt Baker's love at one point, like who her favorite wrestler was. So I think that's her way of saying that Punk was coming back by posting a picture with MJF. I do. I think she was trolling us.
But yeah, it was a great moment. Like Moxley played it great. My man has no problem being the heel in this story if they want to go in that direction.
You don't need one.
He doesn't need one, but he can play it up as the heel, right? Like you saw where he flipped them off at the end and his shoulder bumped them.
The promos next week.
Oh, they're gonna be great. The next couple of weeks.
Give them the same time you gave MJF and Punk.
Oh yeah, from Thanksgiving last year. Yeah, they need the same amount of time.
Give them 20 minutes. Let them go.
Yeah, but we'll see. Dynamite next week looks amazing. We got Tony Storm against Kylie and King, Andrade, Roosh, and Dragon Lee against the Bucks, and who knows? And then Danielson and Garcia in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Like what? Like we're about to get. Not like their match was great. Now we're getting them again, but in 2 out of 3 falls. Like. Holy hell. And I hope we get a direction for Danielson too next week going into All Out, because I feel like that man needs a good match going for All Out. And then we also have Rampage happening tomorrow, the Gun Club versus Danhausen and Redbeard, or people calling it Beardhausen. Parker Boudreaux taking on Sonny Kiss. Great to see Sonny Kiss back on TV. Orange Cassidy and Ari Daivari going one-on-one. Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello. She's now being referred as Ty Mello because she dropped the Conti because she got married.
Wasn't Conti like her ex's?
Yeah,
her ex's name.
That's great. That's good to see. Against Dante Martin Sky Blue, which is amazing because it's being labeled as a AAA mixed tag match. This is like sponsored by AAA, which is hilarious. But
because it's for their titles.
They're getting
for their titles.
Okay, so they're. I just love how they bring in like the real life relationship. They know we're not idiots, and we know that both these couples are dating, and like obviously Guevara and Ty Mello show it on TV, but like. You know, behind the scenes, people know that Dante Martin and Sky Blue are dating. They're not playing. They're not playing stupid, and saying like, you know,
give Sky Blue a graphic, would you?
Yeah, she's that's been long overdue.
She's had more matches than Penelope Ford. Where's her fucking graphic?
And we're gonna hear from Danielson tomorrow, and then Swerve in Our Glory and Hook. Hook, I don't imagine is gonna say anything, but we're gonna hear from all.
Well, here's the thing: when you watch Rampage. Like live, you don't see the promo segments. So like that's why I was looking forward to see like Swerve. I want to see what Swerve and the Glory were saying. It's nowhere online because
they didn't see it with the people in the arena.
Because you don't see it.
So that's interesting. So that's it. So, anyways, guys, we got a hard out now, so I'm gonna be Excalibur for the next couple of seconds and read off just our outro here. But
can I be JR?
Sure. What do you want to say? Are
you
God. Anyways, guys, if you guys want to support the podcast, Hey guys, if you guys want to support the podcast, you guys can do so on Patreon, patreon.com/ElitePOV. Thank you guys all for supporting the podcast and helping us fund our trip to All Out. You guys are amazing, and you guys can also check out Elite POV merch. You guys can get the All Out shirt that we're all going to be rocking that weekend. So you guys
we got merchandise.
Check that out. Make sure you're following the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Elite POV, and also TikTok Elite POV Clips. And then you can follow us all on our personal social medias, except for Ant, and you can follow his EFED one at Kirk Ranter. There's a lot of cool looking tweets on there. You can follow
me and Kyle hate each other right now.
We're doing a feud right now where we hate each other, so it's been fun booking that. If you guys don't, please come watch AWF. It's the most.
Or you could be like Ascendant and get sent down to NSFW every Friday on YouTube.
Jackie, I'll let you give your own self-promotion here. Let them know.
Oh, it's Jackie Rodriguez. How do you say this last name? By God.
Oh my God. You can follow me on Twitter at LoveYouMake24. You can follow me on Instagram at JacksTheDrawPOV.
Amazing. That's like spot on too. Anyways, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys all for tuning in to another episode of Elite POV. And remember, guys, you don't need a hat to be a cowboy. We'll see you next time.
God is my witness.